Which fighting game had some of the hardest AIs that you've ever encountered? I can remember growing up, my family used to always tell me, or the ones that play video games, the way you get good at Smash Brothers is you have to do a handicap match with you against three AIs, and they all got to be on level 9, and you got to come out on top. So back
Yep.
then, for me, they seemed like some of the hardest AI. Well, Akuma, also was one of the hardest AIs to ever fight. But which game had some of the hardest ones to you guys? As we know, Kaze has just came out, and people are saying he's out here throwing bows, elbows. I said the same thing twice. Throwing bows and putting people in the ground and stuff like that with his amazing combos and moveset. So which game is that for you guys? Starting with you, Mr. Gamer, though.
Um, I'm gonna have to say Mortal Kombat, man. Like old school Mortal Kombat, I don't think there's any comparison, man. You play the computer, you play arcade mode on Mortal Kombat 2 or 3, you will not get a button in edgewise. They have an answer for everything. They are walking forward constantly. If you just stop and walk back, they're walking forward. They running you down. You try to do anything, you jump in, they uppercut you. It's just they jab you. It's hard, man. Like I would say that, like, of course, those games, those older games back in the day in the arcade, they had to be hard because like the people didn't want to they want to make money. So if you put a quarter in and just like beat the whole game, like I'm the champ, like ain't make no money off you. But they got to make it hard as possible to make you put 10 quarters in there. It's like, man, I can't beat it. And they know it's like if the game is fun, you like, man, I got to get better. Ain't no way it's AI gonna beat me. I'm gonna beat this game. You just keep putting quarters in it. But Mortal Kombat, and I think they definitely translated it well in like some of the console releases. Cause I remember they made they had a MK Arcade collection on PS2, and then I think they did a collection on PS3, or like they re-released the games, and it was still just as hard. I'm like, yo, like this is the first fight. You want the first fight? I'm like, bro, get off me, man. They will. You sit there and block. They gonna jab block you. They gonna block jab you to death. They walk you down. Like they throw you. You sit there for 1 second too long. Throws back then did like 30,000 damage. So you sit there for too long blocking. Throw you. They run up on you. Jab you. It was insane, man. Mortal Kombat got to be some of the hardest AI, man. Like they just don't stop. They got to answer everything. You jump up, you get anti-air. You think about doing something, they gonna counter it. Like that's one of the things I didn't really understand. But some AIs, like, it's almost like you read my mind, like, oh, you read my inputs. Sometime before I do something, I'm like, how did you know? How did you do a counter to something? How did you know I was gonna do that? But I got to give it off to MK, man. Other honorable mentions was like Street Fighter, like old Street Fighter 2. They could be relentless. But Mortal Kombat, man, they are legendary. Like I have vivid images of just fist in my face in that game. So it's Mortal Kombat for me.
For me, and I don't know how other people out there feel about this game, but I always thought, for me, the game with the hardest AI growing up was Street Fighter Alpha 3. I thought like some of the
Thought I was the only
some of
one.
the enemies, like the people you fight in that game, always kind of to me seemed like they could almost read your mind sometimes, And two of the characters that really, really, really got to me were Vega and Bison, because Vega, they would always put you in Vega's stage with like the cage and everything. So he's always on the wall, then he's off the wall, he grabs you, then he comes down, he's flying all over the screen. You can't keep track of him. He's just clawing you over and over again. Jumps up in the air. What does he do? He grabs you. He slams you on the ground. Okay, fine. Now let's say that through some miracle of God, you were able to get through fighting Vega on that part. Then, if you're lucky, you make it to Bison. And me and my bros used to be like, dude, like this guy is rough, man. Like, how do you deal with? Because you can't jump against him. If he has a full super bar, you cannot jump. And you're sitting there like, oh, how do I get in? He's just going to keep like poking me, make sure I can't get in. I got to jump. The minute your feet leave the ground, he is already doing like a Psycho Crusher. And not just any Psycho Crusher, it's his super move. It's his super Psycho Crusher that completely destroys you. It always hits. I think the only time you're ever able to really block stuff like that is in I think it's like World Warrior mode or something like that. It's like the World Tour mode where you can actually get like air guarding, but just like naturally. You don't have air guarding. You can't block in the air. So what happens? You get hit with that move. Now you have like one clip of health left. And he can pretty much do whatever he wants to you after that, man. Like he's pretty much won the match. So yeah, I think for some, there are other games I think that had hard AI, but for some reason those particular fights stick out in my brain, man. It's fighting Vega and Bison in Street Fighter Alpha 3, because I'm like, dude, this is not cool. Especially Vega, man. Like, I think he just like flipping all over the place. It wouldn't be so bad if he couldn't just like climb on the fence in the back, and then you're just kind of like, bro, how do I even hit you? He's like, you don't, and then he just jumps off. He's all screaming like, ah, and then just, man. You guys know what I'm talking
Vega
about.
at all.
What'd you say?
I said that definitely didn't sound like Vega at all. That sounded like Blanca. I think he was fighting Blanca.
Yeah, Vega sound more like a waste management truck backing up.
Oh man. But yeah, man, I would say that in closing, I would say that Street Fighter Alpha 3 had the hardest AI for me. That's it, man.
Unnecessary hate, man.
Bro, what you mean? Did you hear bro just describe Vega? That's definitely necessary. But
like you said, man, if you ain't got no haters, you doing something wrong, man. So
or people telling the truth about you and you won't realize it.